There's a lot to unpack when you start looking at a brand new piece of music with your band, so let's talk about some of the most important things you need to know about your scores before you begin rehearsing the piece. Let's start with listening to recordings. Listening to both professional and non-professional recordings gives you a clear sonic model of how the piece should sound from start to finish. Professional recordings provide insight into the composer's intent, including phrasing, dynamics, style, and overall musical shape. These performances are typically performed extremely well and can inspire interpretive ideas, helping you plan how you want your ensemble to perform it. By hearing how the music should flow from beginning to end, you gain a more complete understanding of the piece before you start working through it. Non-professional school recordings are equally valuable because they reveal the common challenges ensembles like yours might face when performing the piece. These recordings highlight problem spots such as tricky transitions, intonation issues, or balance problems that could arise in your own rehearsals. Listening to these performances allows you to anticipate these challenges, adjust your rehearsal plan, and focus on the sections that may need extra attention. By combining the artistic inspiration of professional recordings with the practical insight of school recordings, you can develop a well-rounded approach to both the technical and musical aspects of the piece. Next, let's talk about the roadmap. Understanding the roadmap of a piece is essential for any band director during score study because it provides the structure and form of the music and how each different section of the piece plays into the entire piece. By identifying the form, you can better understand how musical ideas develop and where key transitions occur. Noting repeated sections, codas, and DS or DC markings ensure that you're always aware of where the music is heading. This foresight helps you cue more intentionally during performances and prevents time-wasting moments in your rehearsals where your ensemble might get lost in the roadmap of the piece. Knowing the structure of the piece also allows you to prioritize your rehearsal time. If a section of the music is repeated multiple times, you can focus rehearsing it early on, knowing that it will recur throughout your rehearsal calendar and your ensemble will get a lot of time to perfect it. For sections of the piece that may only appear once, you can isolate and rehearse those more intentionally. For example, parts of the piece with more technical passages or moments when only a handful of instruments are playing, you can really dig into those moments more effectively in rehearsals because you've planned ahead for the potential hangups that your ensemble might come across. Let's move on to tempo. Tempo directly impacts both the technical demands and the overall musical character of the piece. Understanding the written tempo allows you to determine whether your ensemble can realistically perform the piece as marked, or if the tempo will need to be adjusted for performances. A tried and true method of going about this is by rehearsing the piece at a tempo that is slow enough for your ensemble to play their music accurately, and then gradually increase the tempo over the course of your rehearsals as they build fluency of their parts. Marking parts of the score that have ritardandos, accelerandos, fermatas, cessuras, or sudden tempo changes ensures that you can anticipate and plan for moments of flexibility with the tempo rather than reacting to them in real time during rehearsals. By internalizing these tempo changes ahead of time, you can give clear, confident direction during rehearsals about how you will be conducting through those moments of the piece so that your ensemble can be confident playing through them as well. Next up is time signatures. Time signature changes and meter changes directly affect the pulse and phrasing of the piece and your conducting patterns. A sudden shift from one time signature to the next can throw off some of your students if it is not addressed early. By highlighting meter changes clearly in your score, you ensure that you won't be caught off guard during rehearsals or performances, which helps your students trust your conducting as the director that much more. This preparation allows you to adjust your conducting patterns seamlessly and provide clear, confident gestures that keep the group together. Time signature changes can often coincide with dramatical musical moments such as tempo changes, big impacts in the music, or transitions into a new section. Anticipating these changes is vital for maintaining fluidity throughout the piece. If you know where these changes occur, you can rehearse them strategically, isolating tricky transitions, and practicing subdividing to build accuracy in your ensemble's timing. Let's move on to key changes. Key changes are pivotal moments in any piece, and knowing when they happen ensures that you can prepare your ensemble for correct fingering changes and proper intonation. Identifying who is most affected by the key change can help you plan targeted exercises or warm-ups to reinforce the notes and fingerings within that key before rehearsing those particular sections in rehearsals. This proactive approach helps avoid unnecessary confusion and keeps the ensemble's focus on musicality rather than technical struggles. Key changes can also signal shifts in mood or character in the piece. By studying these transitions in advance, you can plan how to musically guide your ensemble through them. This could be ensuring a smooth transition of a melodic line through a key change, or building energy within the ensemble into a really dramatic key change. Being fully aware of these changes also allows you to cue sections that might have exposed entrances or new harmonies, enhancing the emotional impact of the performance. Fingerings for notes outside of the key signature, as well as trills and chromatic passages, are important considerations during score study because they can significantly impact both accuracy and tone quality. So many woodwind and brass instruments often have alternate fingerings that make certain notes or passages easier to execute, particularly in fast chromatic runs or more technical sections of a piece. By identifying these moments in advance, you can anticipate potential problem spots and provide students with alternate fingering suggestions that improve technical fluency and intonation. This preparation ensures that your students build consistency in rehearsals because those moments of the piece have been defined. Taking time to consider fingerings also helps you decide which sections you may need more focused rehearsal time to achieve uniformity in phrasing and precision, ultimately resulting in a better sounding ensemble. Next, let's talk about the style of the piece. Style and articulation markings are crucial to score study because they define the character and personality of the piece. Without attention to these details, even technically accurate performances can sound like they are missing something. As a band director, understanding how articulations like staccatos, slurs, accents, and tenutos interact with the style of the piece allows you to teach students how to play certain notes and shape certain phrases with intention. These markings also help influence and communicate the musical story. Sections where the style or articulation shift helps you plan clear instructions for the ensemble. For example, a sudden change from a smooth, connected passage to a sharply articulated one might require adjustments in tongue placement, air support, or even mallet choice for your percussionists. By preparing these interpretations ahead of time, you can spend less rehearsal time explaining basic articulations and more time refining ensemble balance and expression. Focusing on style and articulation ensures your students aren't just playing notes, they're bringing the music to life. Now let's talk about one of the most important parts of conducting your band, which are cues. Marking cues in advance during score study can really set up moments of connection between you and your ensembles. What is important is understanding when instrument entrances occur, whether you're cueing a section that has the melody or you're cueing a section that is about to play after having long rests. Your students often rely on your visual cues to play their parts with precision at the right time, and being prepared with clear direction as the director communicates to your ensemble that you are all together every step of the way throughout the whole piece. Percussion entrances deserve special attention. It's easy to fall into the trap of really analyzing the melodic and harmonic things in the wind parts of the score and unintentionally dismissing the percussion parts underneath. Instruments like suspended cymbal and crash cymbals, bass drum, timpani, and other auxiliary instruments frequently have long rests and really critical entrances that can make or break a performance. A lot of these entrances happen in transitional parts of the music where there might be a crescendo into a bigger moment of the piece. During score study, marking these entrances allows you to plan exactly when and how you will cue them because they will most likely be scattered throughout a phrase or section of the piece. Knowing the piece so well that you know when entrances occur across your whole ensemble really helps to prevent missed entrances and really makes your band sound that much more unified because parts are happening when they are supposed to. Next up is melody and accompaniment. Understanding melody versus accompaniment during score study helps you determine which voices need to be highlighted in each section of the piece. The melody carries the primary musical idea, and if it isn't brought forward, the intent of the music can be lost. By knowing exactly which instruments are playing the melody at all times, you can adjust dynamics and balance of the ensemble to ensure that the main line is always heard clearly. This also helps you coach other instruments to provide appropriate support of the melody, whether that means backing off in dynamics, softening articulation, or blending more with the people next to them. Equally important is understanding the role of the accompaniment. Accompaniment parts often provide harmonic support or rhythmic drive, but they should never overpower the melodic line. Through careful score study, you can identify moments where the accompaniment shifts between instruments or where it needs special attention by maintaining balance. By planning these roles in advance, you create a well-balanced, cohesive sound where the melody is always supported but never buried, allowing the music to have both clarity and depth. Let's move on to unison parts. Recognizing unison parts during score study allows you to identify moments where multiple sections share the same rhythmic or melodic material. These unison lines are often the backbone of vertical alignment across the ensemble and require every player involved to perform with the same articulation, timing, and style. By marking these passages in your score, you can address all necessary instrument sections collectively during rehearsal and also focus on individual instrument sections as needed. This not only saves rehearsal time, but also reinforces ensemble listening skills as students learn to listen across the ensemble to other instrument sections that are playing the same parts that they do. As I mentioned before, marking unison passages is an excellent tool for rehearsing ensemble vertical alignment. If a rhythmic part of the music isn't lining up across each instrument section, it's easy to pinpoint which section needs work since all the players are expected to match each other. For melodic lines, unison playing offers a chance to refine tone, intonation, and balance, ensuring that the line sounds cohesive and unified across the ensemble without having one section of instruments overpowering the others. By identifying these moments ahead of time during score study, you can plan productive rehearsals that strengthen the band's musical accuracy and overall ensemble sound. Now let's move to balance and blend. Balance and blend are fundamental to creating a full, cohesive ensemble sound, and score study is where this planning begins. By examining the instrumentation and voicings of a piece, you can apply the pyramid of sound, ensuring that lower voices provide a strong foundation while upper voices add color without dominating the overall sound. Understanding which sections carry harmonic or rhythmic weight allows you to determine how to distribute dynamics across the ensemble, creating a warm, resonant sound rather than a top-heavy, thin sound. Score study also allows you to anticipate blend challenges such as moments where woodwinds and brass share similar lines, or where percussion needs to support rather than overpower. Knowing these moments ahead of time means you can address balance issues strategically during rehearsals, adjusting tone quality and dynamics to create a unified sound. A well-balanced band not only sounds more professional, but also allows inner voices and harmonies to shine, adding depth and richness to the music while maintaining clarity in the melodic lines. Dynamics are a crucial part of balance and blend because they help shape the emotional contour and story of a piece. I tell my bands that dynamics help create musical interest for the audience. Rather than everyone playing one dynamic level the whole time, we're able to take the audience on a musical journey with soft sections, loud sections, and hairpins that take us between the two. Understanding the full range of dynamics in a piece allows you to plan how to create dynamic contrast in the music. Dynamics also dictate the balance between sections, ensuring that no single instrument section overpowers the ensemble during delicate moments or critical melodic lines. By studying dynamic markings in advance, you can also anticipate where crescendos, decrescendos, and sudden shifts will occur, giving you the ability to conduct with clear intention and prepare your ensemble for those changes. Next up is harmonic structure. Understanding the harmonic structure of a piece establishes the foundation of tuning, balance, and musical phrasing. By analyzing how the chords function, you can determine which voices carry the harmonic weight and which ones provide color or tension. This insight allows you to teach students how their part fits within the ensemble, ensuring that they don't just play the notes, but contribute to the overall harmonic context. When everyone understands their harmonic role, intonation improves naturally because players are listening for chord relationships rather than just their own pitch. Harmonic study also informs dynamic shaping and blend. For instance, the root of a chord might need to be more prominent, while the third and the fifth can adjust to tune and balance properly. By marking these relationships in your score study, you can plan rehearsal strategies that build chords from the ground up, using the pyramid of sound to create a rich, in-tune ensemble sound. Additionally, understanding harmonic tension and resolution helps you shape phrases with greater musicality, guiding your students to play with intention and emotional depth. Now let's move on to thinner textures of the piece. Identifying sections of a piece where only a few instrument sections are playing is critical because these moments often require special attention to detail. These sections can be musically exposed or technically challenging, meaning that a small mistake is far more noticeable because less students are playing. By marking these areas in advance, you can plan to work on them in sectionals or later in your rehearsal calendar after the ensemble has a solid understanding of the piece as a whole. This approach ensures that the musicians playing in these thinner textures are well prepared without wasting rehearsal time for the rest of the ensemble that is not playing. Starting rehearsals with full ensemble sections is more efficient because it keeps all students actively engaged and builds confidence as they hear the piece come together. Once the band has a strong foundation with the main sections, you can return to the thinner, exposed sections and rehearse them with more focused attention. This strategy not only prevents downtime for sections that aren't playing, but also helps the ensemble understand how these smaller, detailed moments fit within the broader context of the piece. Score study allows you to plan this rehearsal flow effectively, ensuring that every minute of rehearsal time is used productively. Let's finish up with percussion stickings. Percussion stickings directly affect accuracy, fluidity, and consistency in the parts that your percussionists are playing. While snare drum and timpani parts often default to alternating strokes between your right and left hands, not all passages are best executed this way. Mallet parts, for example, may require double rights or double lefts to efficiently navigate more complex melodic parts around the keyboard. By analyzing and marking these sticking choices in advance, even if it takes consulting your percussion staff or your section leaders, you can guide percussionists toward the most efficient technique and avoid awkward movement that can affect timing and tone quality. Thoughtful sticking preparation ensures that percussionists can focus on musical expression rather than technical struggles during rehearsals and performances. Inconsistent or poorly chosen stickings can cause uneven phrasing, a lack of stick control, and even mistakes during critical moments in the piece where percussionists play a big role. During score study, noting where these challenges may arise allows you to prepare clear instructions for your percussion section, ensuring they are set up for success. This proactive approach leads to a more polished ensemble sound as your percussion section becomes a reliable anchor rather than a source of uncertainty. If you're working on building more efficient score study, then you're most likely choosing concert music for your bands, or you already have music chosen. Watch this video next to learn how to choose appropriate music for your bands, along with fundamentals for your rehearsals. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.